Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 action horror film Willy's Wonderland, a film that is directed by Kevin Lewis and it stars Nicolas Cage, Kaylee Cohen, Emily Toaster and Beth Grant. Now this film on the surface looks like the on-screen version of Five Nights at Freddy's. However, that is not the case. My understanding is that Blumhouse are producing a Five Nights at Freddy's film, so you can pretty much guarantee that's probably going to be rubbish. This film focuses on Nicolas Cage's character, who is simply called the janitor in this film, who, driving through a small town, his tyres are burst. He takes it to the local garage. They don't accept cash and he has to work off his debt in the local Willy's Wonderland. The owner claims he's going to open it back up, and if he spends the whole night there cleaning the place, in the morning he'll have his tyres changed on his cars and he can go about his business. What he doesn't know is that the town has been preying on unsuspecting tourists through this small town and feeding them to Willy's Wonderland that is full of these murderous animatronics. What they don't realise though, these animatronics and these townsfolk, is that the animatronics, Nicolas Cage isn't locked in there with the animatronics. The animatronics are locked in there with Nicolas Cage. And that is a line in the movie, I'm not kidding. Right, what are my thoughts on Willy's Wonderland? Well, I have to say, despite making absolutely no sense, and I mean, does this film make sense? No, not a little bit, not even slightly. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was a lot of fun, tongue firmly in the cheek, but highly entertaining. Now Nicolas Cage, you can say a lot about Nicolas Cage these days, and yes, he does make a lot of middling films, and that's me being very, very generous, and some very, very poor films, Jiu-Jitsu last year being one of them. But he has still managed over the last 2 or 3 years to make some would class as like, cult classics almost. Things like Mom and Dad, Mandy, Colour Out of Space. Well, you can add this one to the collection as well, and this is arguably his best of the bunch. And do you know what? I don't think he utters one line in this film. I don't genuinely remember him saying a word in this film. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to say anything, and he is still undeniably Nicolas Cage. And this film I thought was highly entertaining, great fun, and stupid beyond belief. The effects at times here were very, very good. The animatronic effects here were pretty good, and also at times really quite bad. It just looked like people in suits. It looked like football matches, and you see the mascots and they've got like the full suits on. It just looked like somebody in one of those suits getting battered by Nicolas Cage. It was literally laugh out loud funny, but it was meant to be. You're not meant to take it seriously. How do they give Nicolas Cage's character any kind of backstory or anything at all? Nothing. What they give him is an addiction to energy drinks and pinball machines. So much so that right in the middle of a fight he has to leave someone because his alarm goes off on his phone and he's got to go and get an energy drink. Makes no sense in such a great, wonderful way. Yes, there are some lambs to the slaughter in this film. In the as you would expect in a film like this, there are some unsuspecting teens. Well, they're not unsuspecting, they kind of know what's going on, and they still end up, making their way into Willy's Wonderland. And you could imagine what happens next, being preyed upon by murderous animatronics. So that's it. That is the film. Nicolas Cage and a bunch of teens trying to survive till morning, so that he can get his car back. And the funniest thing is, I mean, he knows fairly early on into his shift that things aren't right and he's being preyed upon by these murderous machines, but he's still in between cleans the place to make it spick and span. He still feels like he has to do that because he said he'll do it. Even when the teenager who knows what's going on explains it to him in no uncertain terms what is going on, he still goes about his business cleaning. One of the maddest characters I've ever seen put to screen, this Nicolas Cage one, completely over the top, massive caricature of himself, I suppose you could say, but he knows what he's doing, Nicolas Cage. I think he knows sometimes when he's on to a winner, when he's on to a film that is undeniably strong contender to be a cult classic here, I think. Any bad parts about this film? Well, there are many, I suppose you could argue, but it's because it's so completely self-aware about what it is, this film. You don't judge it harshly on some of the bad stuff. Like I say, some of the effects that look really dodgy and a bit laughable. It feels like it's meant to be like that. Do you know what I mean? It's full of the usual tropes with the teenagers, you know, saying, well, I'm not going in there because I don't want to die, and the usual kind of stuff. And of course they end up going in there. Two of them end up in a room having, you know, sex. It's the usual tropes you see in films like this, but again, it knows exactly what it's doing. It knows it's treading the same old tropes, and it's kind of winking at you and letting you know that you know what it's doing. It's a film that you can't judge harshly because it's completely and utterly self-aware about what it is. So from my perspective, I really enjoyed this. It was highly entertaining, a great fun film that isn't. If you go into this film trying to take it seriously, you aren't going to enjoy it because the film in no way, shape or form takes itself seriously. So for that reason and that reason alone, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. If I was going to judge it on quality, it'd be a 6 out of 10. Quality and then stroke entertainment value, it's a strong 8 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed watching this one, and I'm sure you will too. So that is my review for Willy's Wonderland. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you back with more reviews and content on Screen Stars very, very soon.